Should scientists ask reality who it is? One of my earliest memories is of standing in a droopy white diaper, staring up at a Christmas tree, when a stunning red light captured my attention. I was so mesmerized by that radiant red color that everything else around me disappeared in a timeless moment. In that fateful instant, I was mesmerized by the wondrous magic of existence for the first time. I felt it again the first time I balanced a bicycle. Weightless, floating on air, the world once again faded away into the magic of the moment. Life is filled with such transcendent moments. Until it's not. Science ruined it for me. Methodological naturalism, the mandated scientific dogma, insists that all of reality must be explained by material causes, leaving no room for transcendent reality. Even my mother, once the magical center of my universe, was reduced to a walking bag of atoms, a meaningless bowl of ontological soup, what I call an emboss. Meaningless bowl of ontological soup. Really? Is that all we are? Atheistic critiques of transcendence say nothing to the childlike soul in me. They offer no comfort, no magic, no meaning, just a cold instruction to go to your death with science in defiance of God. Well, I refuse. I won't surrender my magic to an indifferent emboss. And this rejection of a transcendent reality isn't even scientifically valid anymore. Why dismiss transcendence like God when transcendent forces are implicit in many of our best scientific findings? I've examined the evidence. It's meant to extinguish transcendence. What I've found is that reality is more magical than our methods can explain. Science points to a source of planning and meaning and language and thought woven throughout the universe. Yet we dismiss it with speculative, untestable ideas I call science of the gaps arguments, like the multiverse, panspermia, or emergence. Intriguing but unfalsifiable. So, does science rule out a transcendent reality or lead us toward it? Let's start with psychophysics. That's my field of interest. If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? No. It makes sound waves, just the code for sound. But that's not sound. Now I'm going to put you in the woods. Here's your eardrum, vibrating, sound waves coming. Now do we have sound? No. Because there is no sound anywhere in the universe. All we have are electrical firings firing along your auditory nerve to your auditory cortex, where even more electrical firings in your brain decode the code for sound. And as it's decoded, sound arises in consciousness. And consciousness is not in the universe. Can you locate a thought in space? How about a value or a sound? No, they don't exist in space either. Minds don't either. So where are they? Same goes for color. There's no color in the universe. No brightness either. Just light waves encoded with wavelength and amplitude. Photons have no color. Your eye decodes them with electronic pulses, just like Morse code, right down the optic nerve to your occipital lobes, right in the back of your head where semantic meaning is organized. Only then do colors like red and orange arise in consciousness, a consciousness that's not in the universe. If we find that those colors are beautiful, like when they present a sunset, then they are meaningful semantic information from reality itself. So what is reality? It is code. Reality is a matrix of meta-naturally existing principal interactions encoding information which we decode through our bodies. transceivers of information to and from reality. The code, like wavelength, isn't the information, nor are the electrical firings in our brain. The information is the experience itself, the sound of a waterfall, the red of a sunset. These arise only in consciousness and exist in a metanatural realm that transcends physics. All perception is encoded transcendent interactions we decode. And these interactions create information like color, sound, and thought, none of which are in the universe. That red light I saw as a toddler was information encoded by a transcendent source in communication with me. I responded with transcendent joy. You see, reality is a dialogue, sender and receiver, a mutual electrical language decoded by consciousness, a language we never had to learn. How do we understand this information if it comes from outside the universe? It seems reality isn't indifferent or disinterested. Maybe it's linguistic, a conversation, a mutual dialogue of encoded messages filled with meaning. This points to something greater. Reality itself, comprised of an infinite and eternal set of immutable principles, uses them to communicate with us. To speak, you must have something to say. A cosmic language implies a cosmic mind, a language of the divine. So instead of asking, what is reality, maybe scientists should be asking, who is reality? It matters because science has disconfirmed the imbus theory. Reality looks less and less like a machine made of atoms. Colors, thoughts, morals, sounds, none are atoms. They are something else entirely. They exist in reality, but not in the universe. How strange that most of us, what we perceive, has no place to be. This suggests our space-time narrative exists in the abstract of a cosmic mind, just as entire virtual reality exists within the code of a computer chip. The timeless structures of reality aren't solid, they're encoded principal interactions, pure information, immutable, meaningful, enabling all possibilities. But meaning points to more. Reality leans toward the good, that which creates unity and harmony. Justice, beauty, mercy, morals, mathematics, these immaterial things don't emerge randomly. They suggest a transcendent force, a mind behind reality. Love, mercy, justice, these make the universe feel more like a story than a machine, a cosmic story told with intent. And what is a story without a storyteller and an audience? Across discipline, science now supports a transcendent reality. Consider particle physics. Max Tegmark says particles are amassings of mathematical effects, no hard surfaces. The universe is in the math. The math is not in the universe. Atomic clocks show time is contingent on velocity. Everyone moving at a different speed exists in a different time. This implies a time outside of time within which all times are embedded. A time outside of time where past, present, and future all coexist in a transcendent block time, just as Einstein predicted. Quantum experiments confirm that reality doesn't exist as a fixed state. Instead, it's a story, a cosmic unfolding of possibilities waiting to be observed. And when we observe, we collapse the potentialities into one shared perceived reality. The Big Bang initial conditions were a finely tuned recipe to make a universe crafted for life, an orchestration of principal interactions delicately balanced to create time, space, dimension, and consciousness. Roger Penrose estimates the odds against this at 10 to the 10th to the 123rd, a number with more zeros than particles in the universe. A system like a cell fulfills a plan. Cellular components communicate semantic messages to each other in an electrical cellular language. The messages communicate complex instructions for targeting and repairing specific parts or functions of the cell in specific locations at specific times. And these messages anticipate changes needed and make repairs or adjustments to accommodate them. Cellular systems fulfill intentions, and intentions require a transcendent agent. Near-death experiences, studied in the Aware 1 and Aware 2 studies at Yale University, are real phenomena and suggest consciousness seems to exist outside of the brain. Terminal lucidity also, like an Alzheimer's patient regaining clarity before death, suggests consciousness may exist beyond the brain. According to Rudolph Ponzi at Harvard, this seemingly impossible feat occurs often, and he suggests that individuals somehow tap in to an immaterial consciousness. Across all these disciplines, science points to a transcendent reality underpinning the physical one. The rejection of a transcendent reality is no longer scientifically valid. So, what do we do with that? Reality looks less like a meaningless bowl of ontological soup and more like a transcendent cosmic story held within a cosmic mind. So should we start asking reality who it is? Well, that's up to you. But if reality is indeed built from math and meaning, if solid things aren't really solid, if thoughts and values shape the cosmos, then the transcendent reality principle must be true. That is, a reality comprised of an infinite and eternal system of creative principle interactions, like immutable math, laws, and axioms, cannot be unconscious. If we are conscious, then the infinitely complex system that made us cannot be less so. Reality is necessarily a conscious agent, a cosmic mind, a who from a what just like us. So, who is it? How does this transcendent being manifest itself? We get a clue from one simple truism. Half a little girl plus half a little girl does not make a whole little girl. She transcends the physics that makes her up and operates her. It's the same with the universe. Half a universe plus half a universe does not make a whole universe. Reality is greater than the sum of its parts. It speaks a cosmic story full of colors, tastes, textures, sounds, thoughts, values, and morals. A language we understand without learning it. That's why in my upcoming book, God, My Cosmic Story, I propose methodological meta-naturalism, a disciplined scientific approach to transcendent phenomena without materialist reductionism. Now, I don't have time to explain it fully now, but here's an experiment you can try today. Talk to reality, personally, reverently, as if it were a transcendent consciousness. Then look for a response. If reality is a conscious agent like God, then changing your relationship with it should change your experience of it. It did for me. I've regained the magic. I'm free to reconnect with a reality that once spoke to me through radiant red light and the joy of balance. A reality that speaks, that listens, that creates, that cares. I want to be that reality for others too, to offer love that awakens joy in someone's suffering. But most of all, I want to return childlike magic to the hopeless materialist, indoctrinated to believe in a ridiculous imboss that destines us to an indifferent abyss. Science hasn't killed the magic, it's given it back. So I'll leave you with this. Don't go to your death with science in defiance of God. Look up, listen, because reality is speaking. Maybe it's waiting for you to answer. And if someone mocks your childlike response, just smile and tell them this joke. One day, a group of scientists and intellectuals got together and called a meeting with God. We don't need you anymore, they said. We can make life all on our own without you. Oh, really, said God. That's very interesting. Show me. So they reached down to pick up some dirt and, oh, no, said God. Get your own dirt. Thank you for listening.